Bionic Gloves presents the Hands-On Golf Podcast, bringing anatomy and hand function to the forefront of glove design to improve comfort, fit, and performance. Bionic is a division of Hilrich & Bradsby Company, makers of Louisville Slugger bats and ball gloves. Bionic gloves are the only gloves designed by a leading orthopedic hand surgeon, Dr. Jim Kleinert.
Welcome everyone to this edition of the Bionic Gloves Hands-On Golf Podcast. My name is Chaz Ra. I'm your host, and I'm here with Barry Bonifield from the Crescent Hill Golf Course in Louisville, Kentucky. Now let's get right into this week's email that comes in from David. And he says, Chaz, I love the podcast and really like that you have different pros giving the tips. So thank you, Barry. And of course, we also have Joe and Eric out there who do such great jobs. So we've been getting great feedback about them. So I'm very happy that we have such great people helping us on these podcasts and helping you. So let's get right to the question. As a relatively new golfer, I found that there are a few things I often do that are wrong. I sometimes lift my head as I'm swinging and I top the ball. I sometimes drop my right shoulder and push with the right arm rather than pulling with the left. What tips can you give me for avoiding these mistakes? Barry?
Thank you very much for your question. These are common maladies that most golfers feel that they're doing. Much of the time they're not doing any of those things. However, of the four that you've mentioned, I think you may be doing two of those. And so when we get out on the golf course, I think we'll be able to simplify it and help you, and I think you'll be very encouraged.
We'll be doing that in just a moment, but of course, David, I just wanted to let you know that we will be putting one of these in the mail for you, an official Bionic glove just for your participation. And if you would like to participate in this podcast as well, it's real easy. Send an email to podcast@bionicgloves.com. Of course, question, your name, full mailing address, and what size your glove you wear. You do all that, and we'd be more than happy to send you one. And also whether you're right or left-handed. Do all that and we'll send you a glove with no problem. And as always, please leave your feedback in iTunes as well as YouTube, and tell all your buddies about the Bionic Hands-On Golf Podcast. And now, Barry, let's go out on the course and see how we can help David, not only David, but everyone, on how they can become a better golfer in this edition of the Bionic Gloves Hands-On Golf Podcast.
So David, here we are out on the golf course here at Crescent Hill, and let's talk a little bit about what the question you have posed today. First of all, it's lifting your head and you top the ball. Sometimes you drop your right shoulder, sometimes you don't pull enough with your left arm, sometimes you push too much with your right arm. That's an awful lot going on. So the first thing we want to do is perhaps think a little bit less and about less moving parts. Let me see if I can consolidate some of these things for you and help you. I'm going to work my way into my posture over the golf ball and see if this helps this idea. Once I get over the golf ball here, I'm setting my club beside the ball, and I just kind of bend forward from my waist, and I want to stay at this height right here. Now, you can see if you were to put a line right over the top of my head, this is as tall as I can get during my golf swing. I don't want to be pulling up. I don't want to be going down. I want to stay right here. Now, I've been teaching a long time. I have not seen people lift their heads. I've seen a lot of them come up, but you can see it just happened from my waist. It did not happen from my head. So that's key number one. I'm going to try to rotate and turn my body and stay at this very same height that I started. See, I still have this bend line intact. Why is that important? Because then from here, all I've got to do is swing the golf club down, and that gets the club back down to where it started, because I never did raise up. I'm just turning within the confines of that posture, and I'm able to make real nice contact with the golf ball. One of the other points you mentioned was sometimes you don't pull enough with your left, and you may push too much with your right. The great Ben Hogan once said he wished he had 3 right hands. So the right hand does have a major power role in the golf swing, but I've got to do it in context. There's definitely a pulling action this way, but there's also a hitting action with the right hand down here at the bottom of the golf swing. So I want to be sure I'm turning, and I want to feel the lower part of my body turning as well, and that helps my arms to stay in the role that they're meant to provide power while I'm on plane. So when I start my downswing, I want to feel the left side of my body turning and pulling my arms into their key position, and then finish that golf swing on through there. Key thing for you will be to stay in your posture, the original posture you set up via your waist from your bend line there. Don't worry so much about your head as your bend line here, and then go ahead and feel your body turn, and that'll get your arms pulling into the position that you'd like them to be in. I think that's going to help you a great deal. For further advice, be sure to consult with your local PGA golf professional. Thank you, David.